Six L2 rollups will hold most of Ethereum's activity by the end of 2026. Most people pick one by fees. Most people are wrong. The fee you save on the cheap L2 is the exit you can't take when the sequencer freezes. L2 isn't a chain. It's a settlement promise. And the 7 chains worth knowing each make a different one. I'm Rachel from ChainSense. In the next 8 minutes, what L2 actually is, the 7 chains worth knowing, the optimistic versus zk split, and how to pick the right one for what you actually do. L2 means layer 2, a separate execution environment that batches transactions and settles them onto Ethereum. L2 isn't a sidechain. Sidechains have their own security. L2 isn't an alt L1 with bridges. Those are bridges, not rollups. L2 inherits Ethereum's settlement guarantees through cryptographic proofs or fraud challenge windows. What changes between L2s, how they prove validity, who runs the sequencer, where data availability lives, how fast you can exit, what stays the same. Ethereum is the final arbiter. Here's how I think about it after bridging onto these chains with real money. Every L2 is renting Ethereum's security. The rent is different. The security isn't. 3 optimistic OP stack chains. Arbitrum, the home of perpetuals and derivatives capital. Optimism, governance-led with synthetic markets and a long DAO history. Base, Coinbase run, built for retail onboarding. 3 zk rollups. zk sync, type 4, compatible with Solidity. Linea, pushing toward type 1 EVM equivalence, with Linux Foundation governance over its open source stack. Starknet, non-EVM, with native account abstraction from day one, plus 1 cautionary case study. Polygon zkEVM, being sunsetted by its parent on July 1st, 2026. The lifecycle every L2 user should understand. And here's the part most guides skip. Scroll exists, so does Manta, so does Mantle. They are not on this list. And the reason matters. TVL and security aren't the same shortlist. Optimistic rollups assume the operator is honest. They let anyone challenge invalid state during a window, typically 7 days. zk rollups don't assume anything. They prove every batch is valid before Ethereum accepts it. Exit in hours, not days. Here's what that buys you. If an optimistic rollup tries invalid state, anyone can challenge during the 7-day window and earn the bond. zk rejects invalid state before it lands. Different security models, different exits. The trade-off, optimistic, is cheaper to operate today. zk is cryptographically stronger and getting cheaper fast. Bold, bounded liquidity delay, went live on Arbitrum mainnet in February 2025. It made optimistic challenges permissionless for the first time. Anyone can challenge, anyone can defend. On the zk side, Boojum and S2 are pushing prover costs down onto consumer hardware. The economics that made zk expensive in 2023 are gone. Optimistic rollups are solving good enough for now. zk rollups are solving right forever. Both are correct answers to different questions. If you can hold one decision in your head from this video, make it this one. The chain has to fit the workflow you actually have, not the workflow you'd like to have. Here's the decision tree. Pick Arbitrum if you trade perpetuals, want GMX liquidity, or run derivatives capital. Pick Optimism if you participate in DAO governance, want synthetic asset exposure, or value the OP token and Citizens House model. Pick Base if your audience comes from Coinbase, you want the fastest fiat on-ramp, or you need retail-grade onboarding. Pick zk sync if Solidity compatibility plus zk exit speed is your priority. Pick Linea if type 1 EVM equivalence at scale matters more than speed to market. Pick Starknet if account abstraction is the feature you actually need, not a nice-to-have. The cheapest chain isn't the right chain. The right chain runs the workflow you actually use. If you're new to L2, buy ETH on Binance or Kraken or OKX. Withdraw to Arbitrum directly. The big exchanges support native L2 withdrawal, no separate bridge step. Your ETH arrives in your MetaMask on Arbitrum. Total fee, typically under a few dollars. Total time, 2 to 5 minutes. If you're bridging from L1 to L2, use the canonical bridge for that chain. Arbitrum bridge. Optimism gateway, base bridge. Not a third-party aggregator, not for your first bridge. And if you use a hardware wallet, verify the destination address on the device screen, not the laptop screen. Clipboard malware swaps addresses silently. Ledger and Tangem both show the address on the device for exactly this reason. Here's my framing. Your first bridge teaches you the chain. Use real money. Use a small amount. Pay attention to every screen. After your first bridge, bookmark the canonical block explorer for that chain. Arbiscan, optimistic Etherscan, Basiscan. That's where you verify transactions actually settled. If you can't read it there, you don't yet trust the chain. Polygon zkEVM launches in 2023. Promises Type 2 EVM equivalence. Reaches a TVL peak of about $187 million in March 2024. Then competition arrives. Arbitrum and Optimism compete on cost. zkSync and Linea push the zk roadmap faster. In June 2025, Polygon announces sunset. July 1st, 2026. 12 months of notice. The chain isn't being hacked. It's being end-of-lifed because the parent company is redirecting resources to its AG layer architecture. Users had 12 months to migrate. Funds in DeFi protocols at sunset, not automatically recoverable. The claim interface stays live until December 31st, 2027, but only for EOA-held funds. Vitalik Buterin reframed the L2 conversation in February 2026, pointing out that you can't scale Ethereum through a multi-sig bridge, no matter how fast the L2 underneath runs. The rollup-centric roadmap needed an update. Polygon zkEVM didn't get exploited. It got outcompeted. That's a normal L2 outcome. Plan for it. Every L2 makes you a promise. We will settle your transactions onto Ethereum with these guarantees, in this time, with this exit path. The promise differs by rollup type, by sequencer ownership, by data availability layer choice, by stage level on L2 beat. The strongest promise isn't the chain with the cheapest fees. It isn't the chain with the biggest TVL. It's the chain whose force exit you've actually tested, whose stage you've checked, whose sequencer policy you understand. And every L2 on this shortlist is improving. Arbitrum and Optimism are pushing towards stage 2. zkSync, Linea, Starknet are decentralizing sequencers. The promise gets stronger over time, if the chain wants to keep it. Force exit, stage level, sequencer policy, these aren't engineering details. They're the actual product. Pick the L2 by its promise, not its marketing. The marketing is loudest where the promise is weakest. 6 chains worth knowing. 1 lesson worth repeating. The 6 satellite videos go deeper: optimistic versus ZK, fee mechanics, security trade-offs, DeFi capital flows, the OP stack big 3, the ZK trio. Links in the description. L2 isn't a chain, it's a settlement promise. Subscribe to ChainSense. I'm Rachel. See you in the next one.